9-8 Central.
For the bright lights of the Strip. But today the action will be under the bright light of the sun at Sam Boyd Stadium. 20th ranked BYU arrives in town with an offense led by quarterback Brandon Doman, who has thrown for 780 yards and 7 touchdowns in the Cougars' first 3 games. For UNLV, the question is, will quarterback Jason Thomas finally show the football world why he was made a preseason Heisman Trophy candidate? Today, BYU meets UNLV on ABC's College Football. Near capacity crowd expected at Sam Boyd Stadium, and they have enjoyed the beginning of this one. Rich Cellini alongside Reggie Rivers, and the Rebels got off to an outstanding start. Here's the opening kickoff, fielded by Luke Staley.
And Luke is a little fumbling ball he picks up, takes off a great hit coming in here to knock the ball loose, and then picked up by Derek Olson. Played 8-man football at Indian Springs. Opening kickoff, he takes it in for the score. This is their special teams guru. They're up 7-0.
Well, Coach Robinson said they needed a few breaks, and indeed they have got them, and the Rebels are fired up. 7-0 UNLV. And that was Rod Wilkerson who would deny. That'll bring up a 3rd down for BYU.
And on top of that fumble recovery for a touchdown, they come out the opening play. Anton Palapoy, the defensive end, blocks a pass. They make that stop for a loss, or it looks like a loss of about 1. So now it's 3rd and 11, and UNLV has come out ready to play.
Cougars go with a 5 wide receiver set. Doman from the shotgun. With pressure, and he's got room. Brandon Doman will pick up the Cougar 1st down.
This is part of what makes Doman so dangerous, the ability to scramble.
The protectors of Doman, 4 of the 5 earned all-conference accolades a year ago. All 5 started last season. Keep an eye out for number 20, Reno Mahe. Also, Luke Staley, very involved in the offense. Wouldn't be surprised to see the Cougars go to him once again following the fumble of the opening kickoff. From the 32 to Staley. And Luke turns it upfield for a nice gain on 1st down. Shanga Wilson finally stops him, but not before he got 8. Defensive line, Palapoy already has knocked down a pass. He and Briggs will have to use their speed. Shanga Wilson, the standout among the linebackers. They will have to cover those Cougar backs in the backfield, and a pair of NFL prospects in Sam Brandon and Kevin Thomas in the Rebels secondary. 2nd and 2. Option, Doman up the middle. He has the 1st down.
Well, if this is a test for the Cougars, right now they're responding very well to it. They get hit right off the kickoff. They don't do so great their first couple of plays, but you look at Brandon Doman and what he's done, completing 68% of his passes, 780 yards in just 3 games. It's phenomenal what they've been able to do, and now you see them starting to put together a little drive.
Well, the Cougars didn't have any turnovers in their last 2 ball games. They cough it up on the opening kickoff. They have been nearly flawless through their first 3 games. Their first running play, this is McDonald Ashford, tries the right side. Not much.
This will be an important drive for both teams to get established. If UNLV can hold on and stop them here, keep them from scoring, or hold them even to a field goal, given how much of a juggernaut the Cougars offense has been, that'll be a huge victory for the Rebels.
44-year-old Gary Croton had some fine tales to tell. His first job in coaching, student assistant under Lavelle Edwards. Doman on the rollout. He's got his favorite target. Mahe slips a tackle, and now he's got room. Reno Mahe inside the 20, all the way down to the 17-yard line before Tosh Burris finally made the stop.
You look at Reno Mahe, who is their leading receiver. He runs a quick little hitch route, comes up, and when we talked to the defensive coordinator for the Rebels, we said, what's the most important thing? Tackling. Because you miss a tackle on a short play, they take off down the sideline, turn it into a 30-yard gain, and that's exactly what BYU has been able to do in their first 3 games.
Mahe was a running back and showing some of those elusive moves from the backfield. Staley now on the end around. This is Wilkerson. He's got a wall. And before he is finally belted down by Kevin Thomas.
This is what this offense does to you. This is what Gary Croughton puts together. Gives you so many looks, so many reverses, so many draws, so many screens, so many everything. You flat can't prepare for it on defense. It keeps you guessing. Here they give the reverse to Wilkerson, and another big gain.
The Cougars driving. They go with 3 wide receivers to the top of your screen. Instead, it's Staley on the swing pass. Luke Staley into the end zone. Touchdown, BYU. "14-yard connection, Doman to Staley."
Let's take another look at this. Luke Staley, one of their key players, just swings out of the backfield, catches this pass, and great blocking down the field by the wide receivers. Again, another interesting design on the play to get him out in the open where he goes into the end zone untouched.
Matt Payne ties us at 7-0. BYU and UNLV, the Mountain West opener. This shapes up to be a dandy.
You like simple better than complicated. You like quick better than slow. You like easy better than hard. So now pay with SpeedPass at both mobile.
Welcome back to Las Vegas. Quick look at our Dodge game solutions.
Well, for the Cougars, the first thing, no turnovers. They've already got one, but that's been their key all year. They haven't had many. Number 2 is contain Jason Thomas. They can't let him scramble. And number 3 is don't be rusty. Taken from this first drive, they don't look rusty. For the Rebels, Jason Thomas needs to have a quick start. He'll get the opportunity right now. No turnovers for them. They've given up 10 in their first 3 games, and make tackles, which we've already seen them have a problem with.
Aaron Edmonds sends this one through the end zone, so Thomas and company will have to operate from the 20.
And a big test for Jason Thomas. You know, his team's 7-7 now. He gets to come out and see if he can do what he knows he can do, what his teammates know he can do, what the coaches know he can do, and what everybody in the nation believed he would do. But you look at his completions to attempts, only 37% of his passes are finding their receivers. So he's got to make some plays today for the Rebels to have a chance.
Joe Haro, the lone setback. Thomas to the air. Over the middle, batted away, and incomplete. Justin Ina getting a hand on it. The front 5 for the Rebels. Peter Tramontanis, the center, makes the calls. Coach Robinson and company love the way he plays football. Backs and receivers. Troy Mason, their most dangerous wide receiver. He's had a case of the yips as of late. Look for them to get the ball to him early. And Jersey Joe Haro, averaging better than 100 yards a game. And Haro gets the carry on second down. Not much doing in the middle. Jeff Cowart wraps him up.
And this is probably not exactly the situation that Coach Robinson wanted to put Thomas in right off the bat, to have a 3rd and 8 where he really has to make a key throw down the field and make a first down. But if he does, great for his confidence, great for the whole team's confidence.
Third down and 8. Joe Haro with room, and the ball is loose. BYU signals they have it. No word from the officials as of yet. And now they signal Cougar football. Well, the ball bounced well for UNLV to start the game. This, a bad break for the Rebels.
This has been the Achilles heel of the Rebels. Harrow running hard here, gets the ball stripped away from him. They've turned it over 10 times in 3 games. 7 of those turnovers have led to touchdowns for the other team, and they're hoping it's not going to become 8 out of 11 right now.
The Rebels, so good a year ago at taking care of the football. They have been equally as bad in 2001. Doman and company from the 33. Mahe on the reverse, and they're going to look to throw. They've got Staley. Incomplete. Jamal Wynn recovered to get back in time. Gary Croton going deep to the playbook early in the game.
Can you imagine how scary it is for coaches who are getting ready to play the Cougars to start watching film and say, how do you possibly prepare for all of this? They run a reverse, pitch back to the quarterback, throw to the guy who initially handed off the handoff on the reverse. I mean, it's just unbelievable, the play calling, but that's what makes it so tough on defenses.
To the air on second down. Bowman directing traffic all day. And finally swarmed under and throws an incomplete pass. And there will be no flag because he had gone outside the tackle box before returning.
And that's Doman, good decision making in general. I know that right at the end of that play, he probably should have made something else. Gary Croton probably will talk to him when he gets the sideline. At that point, either throw it away, minimize the sack, do something, but don't wait until the last minute to throw it in the dirt.
Third and 10. Big stand early in the game for the Rebels. Doman will keep it himself, and he's got room and slides down, and the Cougars have a first down. Reggie, you have touched on it. Everybody gets involved in the offense, and how in the world, as a defensive coordinator, can you prepare for everything they're able to do?
They just do so many things. You watch Doman here on just the fake handoff, and he's got the quarterback keeper. Just does a good job of getting outside. The end there never saw him go, and he's able to get the first down.
A good look at his numbers. He had over 100 of those yards rushing against Tulane in their opener. But the 3 weeks off seemingly have had no effect on this Cougar offense. Mahe, quick pass, and he is wrapped up and dropped just short of the 20-yard line. That is what UNLV needs to do. Jamal Wynn with the tackle.
Another well-designed play by the offense, but great play by Jamal Wynn, making the tackle out in the open field. We've seen Mahe be elusive. We know that he is basically a running back playing wide receiver, so he can certainly move with it after he gets the ball. But Jamal Wynn does a great job of wrapping up his ankles.
Staley in motion. Rigel, the left-hander, throws a wounded Mallard, and it's incomplete. Andrew Ord could have been whistled for pass interference. Kevin Thomas had the best shot at the football.
They might be complaining about offensive interference. Look in the upper corner how the offensive player is the one who's pushing on him. You know, that's one, it could go either way, or a non-call. They're both touching each other a little bit, and the ball was uncatchable in any event.
Another chance for the Rebels to hold on 3rd and long. Penalty marker is down, and this one will be whistle dead. Steve Newton, the guilty party.
And I was curious to see what the Cougars were setting up on the wide side of the field toward us. They put 3 receivers into the boundary, then motion the back out this way.
New York Jets are undefeated in their last 4 appearances on Monday Night Football, including last season's stunning comeback victory over the Dolphins. Now Jeff Garcia and the 49ers will try to stop the Jets' Monday Night Magic. That's Monday Night Football, 9 Eastern on ABC.
Now this is a big play for both teams. If the Rebels can hold them here, this will be one of the few times that they've had a turnover in their own territory that didn't lead to a touchdown.
5 wide receiver set. Pressure from the backside. Antoine Palapoy drops Brandon Doman.
Anton Palapoy is an NFL prospect, and when you ask the defense, who's the best guy on this defense? Him. Flat away. Speed, quickness, strength, just fighting through that block to get to Doman and stop what would have been a 3rd and 15. Now made it a long field. Did a great job making it a very long field goal.
Matt Payne from 50. He's 0 for 2 on the season from 50 yards plus. Plenty of leg. And it's good. So the turnover does come back to bite the Rebels, but only by 3. They now trail 10-7. ABC Sports presentation of college football is brought to you by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge. Budweiser, the crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer. And Morgan Stanley, formerly Morgan Stanley Dean Witter. Move your money, get well connected. Aaron Edmonds will put a foot into it. Dominique Dorsey, 3 yards deep. He's lightning in a bottle. Edmonds finally trips him up, but not before he gets out near the 50-yard line. The true freshman has been dynamite.
And he's only 5'8", 165 pounds, but this kid makes plays. They haven't found good ways to use him on offense yet, but on special teams, back there, the kicker does a great job of using the sideline and getting the angle to knock him down. But Dominique Dorsey making a huge play for the Rebels.
The first time he touched the ball, he went 87 yards in a kick return against Northwestern.
Looks like I gave him a couple of extra inches. 5'6", he looked taller.
Harrow on first down. And Jersey Joe into the line. Time now for a look at our Pacific Life game summary.
You look at what Jason Thomas has done last year. His number is 26 of 53 for 521 yards. So far this year, only completed 27 passes. That's 37%. Is just not having a good start to this season.
Through 3 games, the number is decidedly off. John Robinson going to tear a page from the USC playbook in the days of old, and I think get Joe Harrow working early.
Yeah, you got to try to get a running game going, and that'll make everything easier on Jason Thomas. He doesn't feel like he's got to carry all the weight himself, and I think that's been part of the problem this year. Last year he had some seniors in the backfield with him, guys who would make plays. This year everybody's looking to him, and that's a lot of pressure and all the Heisman talk and everything that went along with that.
3rd down and 1. To the air, swing pass, Costa with room. Cuts back and finally dragged down, but not before he gets inside the 20-yard line. Steven Costa out of the backfield, and it's one of those plays to get Jason Thomas into a rhythm and perhaps even more importantly, move the chains.
A very good call. 3rd and 1. You'd expect them to come out and run it, especially if they're not having great confidence in the quarterback. They give Jason the chance to make the play. He makes the huge play. Costa gets the first down.
A couple over the right side. Paul Walkinghorst, the first in on the stop. Look at the Cougar defense. Ryan Denny, the standout on the defensive line. He and Kiesel will have to stay in their lanes and keep Thomas pinched in. Walkenhorst, Ina, and Kelly, 255, 261, and 240. Awfully large at the linebackers and the DBs. They have been steady. Guilford, the best of the bunch. Haro on second down. Tries the left side. Somebody lost a hat for the Cougars as he lowers his shoulders and gets down near the 10-yard line.
John Robinson making a decision early that they're going to run the ball and try to establish the run. And maybe it's a decision purely to take some pressure off Jason Thomas. Let him know that, hey, it's not just you out there on the field. We've got a lot of other guys who are going to try to help you. Now, 3rd and 2. Probably a pass here.
Well, BYU very well aware that the best place to keep Thomas is in the pocket. Instead, they go Haro. And Haro gets near the first down. Tough running by Joe Haro. Now this a big decision, and indeed it is a first down, so it'll be 1st and goal. Haro averaging better than 100 yards a game.
And Anton Palapoy describing Haro this week said that this guy's, and you know what, I apologize, Anton Palapoy is on the same team. But, you know, Haro, very hard runner. He spins a lot when he gets hit, but does a good job of getting the first down here.
UNLV has not been effective in the red zone throughout their first 3 games. And the crowd comes up. Haro. Greeted by a pair of Cougars, Madrietta and Isaac Kelly bring him down.
This is very interesting, the way the plays are being called here. Run after run after run. Now Jason Thomas is back there, given all the ability that he has. You know that they're going to use him, but establishing the run early. But this would be an opportune time to throw a pass. You got 2nd down and about 3.
Haro again, up the middle, stood up, close, touchdown, UNLV.
You watch Haro just muscle his way. That line gets some movement, and then he gets his shoulders down there and keeps on pumping, and he breaks the play into the end zone before they push him back out.
Tacks on the extra point, and the Rebels respond on the shoulders of Jersey Joe Haro. UNLV up 14-10. Welcome back to this late afternoon contest in Las Vegas. The calendar may tell us it's fall. It feels like mid-summer here in Las Vegas, and the Rebels in the shade on the near side, sitting at about 78 very pleasant degrees. Still in the sunshine, the BYU Cougars 100 plus.
It makes a difference early in the game. The BYU Cougars a lot hotter on their sideline, but that shadow is moving pretty quick. They should be in the shade as well.
Zumkley's kick, fielded by Rigel, and he is stopped out near the 20-yard line. Next Saturday, ABC Sports brings you more great college football regional action at 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific. The defending national champion Oklahoma Sooners take on Chris Sims and the Texas Longhorns, while some of you will see number 17 Michigan versus Penn State. Doman on the run, right side, through the hands of number 10, Andrew Ord. 2nd down.
Dillman did a good job just handling that snap that came fired at him, and then a rare incompletion. And you see, he's already had 3 incompletions today. He's completing nearly 70% of his passes so far this season. You know, and there's been some talk, oh, the opponents they've faced so far haven't been the best. But when you start talking about completions, the kind of plays that they're running, the personnel groupings, the number of people who have caught passes, BYU has been executing extremely well regardless who they're playing.
And Doman will call a timeout and go over and visit with his head coach, Gary Croton. And while they talk it over, we'll take a break with them. Cougars on the sideline, down by 4. Going over what play they want to call, and most of what they have called has worked extremely well.
55 points a game. They're leading the NCAA. Just prolific.
2nd and 10. They go to Staley on the ground. Luke still on his feet. Finally wrestled down by Sam Brandon and Ahmad Miller.
That's a surprising call. You know, I mean, given what we've already seen with reverses and all the creativity on 2nd and 10 to drop back and just hand it off, but maybe that's part of it too. You hope to catch him by surprise, but Brandon comes up and makes a big play there.
Third down. Intercepted. He threw it right to Sam Brandon. Still on his feet, and the Rebels have their 2nd turnover of the game.
Sam Brandon makes a nice catch here, but I think you credit this one to the inexperience of Brandon Doman. We've talked about how many great things he's done. He really hasn't played that many games, doesn't see the safety hiding out on the backside. Brandon steps right in front of it, makes the return. Another big play for the Rebels, and who would have expected that after almost a quarter of play, the Rebels would be on top and about to score again.
Dominique Dorsey, number 6, is the tailback. Instead, they do it the old-fashioned way with Costa.
Oh, that looks... I thought he fumbled that one, too. I thought that's the last thing they need at this point.
Well, Las Vegas knows they have an opportunity here, leading 14-10.
And what a victory even so far for the Rebels in terms of their confidence to come in. You know, look what they've done against ranked teams. They've been horrible, but to have BYU come in here and play them as tough as they're playing them so far.
Costa in motion. They pitch it. Dorsey. Dominic Dorsey inside the 10-yard line. Levi Madrietta, the final Cougar before the final stripe.
We were talking to the coaches earlier. They said they'd love to find a way to get Dominique Dorsey on the field and get the ball in his hands every other play, because he's lightning in a bottle, as you said earlier, Rich. But the problem is when you put him in on offense, he's small, and so he can't block. And so when you get him in there, the defense pretty much knows you're giving him the ball, but he's still able to make a big play.
They'll try him again. Up the middle. Touchdown, Rebels. Said he looks like the real deal. I believe he is.
A true freshman. He's just got explosion and quickness, able to make the play there. And this is great. Now, I think maybe I'm understanding the strategy here. Jason Thomas, the kid who's heralded, the kid who's supposed to be the savior, they're on top. They've scored 21 points, and he really hasn't had to do anything. That takes so much pressure off him now when he does have to start passing the ball.
21-10, UNLV taking advantage of the Cougar turnovers.
The strength of the Cougars the past 3 games has been they have not turned the ball over. They've had 1 turnover in 3 games. So far today, they've had 2 now and able to turn those into touchdowns. This was a 3-play drive, 24 yards. It took about 1:04 to get it done. And But the way you have to guard against, if you're the Rebels, is that last week BYU had a slow start in the first quarter. They've outscored their opponent 77-7 in the second quarter. So you got to get your momentum going and keep it going.
Well, this pro-Rebel crowd here in Las Vegas, John Robinson, has people excited about football in the desert.
How many push-ups can you do at once?
Mike Rigel and Brian McDonald back deep.
I know, he's afraid to answer. He doesn't want to whisper, 3.
Not the same as the number on Hubie's jersey, 14.
Oh, you can do 14. We might put that to the test. We have a camera up here we could watch this with.
Dunkley getting a bit more comfortable. Sails this one. And Rigel will bring it out. Stopped just past the 20-yard line. Barry Croughton seeing things that he has not seen before out of his team. Some bad decisions and some turnovers as well.
And this is a big test for the Cougars now. They've been on top in all their games, won in such dramatic fashion. Now they face a little adversity and have to come back.
Down by 11. They go on the ground to Staley. Halapoy can't catch him. Luke Staley turns the corner, still on his feet, and finally knocked out of bounds by Tosh Burris. Spoke with Gary Croton and asked him to assess the UNLV Rebels.
I think they're a real good team. I just watched that. I know Arkansas pretty good. You know, I've been out in the South, and I know Houston Nutt, and they are a good defensive football team. They've always got good players. So UNLV starts out. They easily could have won that game. You know, fumbled snap on the punt and 2 4th-down conversions, and it's a whole different story with UNLV to me. And then they turn around and follow Northwestern, who's a really good team, had such a good year last year with all that confidence. So I think they're a very good team. I think their record is not indicative of how good they are.
Indeed, those 2 tough losses as Rigel moves the chains once again for the Cougars. Tough loss to Arkansas in the Northwestern game, and really the only bad game that UNLV played was last week in Tucson against Arizona.
And they're certainly looking like the team that in the preseason you expected them to be, and this is shaping up to be the kind of game you might have expected to see between these 2 teams, despite now they have a 3-0 and 0-3 records, respectively.
First down in Rebel territory. Doman on the move up the middle, and he is whacked by Ahmad Briggs. When we spoke to him last night, he's a football player, not just a quarterback, and he said, I'm not in the game until I get whacked a few times. I like to run a few options early.
Yeah, he definitely got hit that time, and that was the thing he said, you know, I need to get hit pretty hard, and then I start feeling comfortable. And so he was an option quarterback in high school. That's right up his alley there.
On 2nd and 6. Pass complete, Andrew Ord. Let's go to New York. John Saunders at Times Square Stadium.
Okay, and for the Coors Light update, Wake Forest facing Florida State. Of course, Florida State coming off that loss to North Carolina. Nick Maddox, his 2nd touchdown of the game. That one from 4 yards out in a 21-7 lead. Bobby Bowden trying to get his team back on track.
Thank you, John. McDonald Ashford picking his way, finds some room. Sam Brandon finally dropped him. A little bit too much time, if you're a Rebel fan, for McDonald Ashford to pick and choose and find some daylight.
Yeah, getting out the backside. And what we're seeing out of the Cougars now is a slow, methodical march down the field. They haven't panicked. They're not going crazy. They're just lining it up and running plays, getting 10 yards here, 5 yards there. Another great run by McDonald Ashford.
The attack has been balanced. 2nd and 3. On the ground again, Staley. He'll be stopped short. Ahmad Miller swings into the turf.
That was a great play by Ahmad Miller. If he doesn't fight off that block and come down the line to make this tackle, that could be a touchdown.
Have a 3rd down and 2 when we come back. As that is the end of the first quarter, ABC Sports presentation of college football will return after this message and a word from our ABC stations. It's been a wild first quarter in Las Vegas.
The opening kickoff, you get the big hit on Staley. The ball pops loose. Derek Olson, their special teams guru, picks it up, takes it into the end zone before 10 seconds are up. They're on top. And then a bad pass here by Doman, picked off by Sam Brandon, and Brandon does a good job on the return, but it led to 14 points for the Rebels.
21-10, UNLV leading BYU. Mountain West Conference opener for both teams. 3rd down and 2. Staley. Met rudely. He'll be close to the 1st down. The Rebels think they have him stopped.
If they've stopped him here, this will be the 2nd big stop of the game, where after a turnover by the Rebels, BYU took over at the 33-yard line, was not able to put it in, had to kick a 50-yard field goal. They'll bring the chains out. Oh, no, they're signaling 4th down. Another big stop. You look at the Rebels here, fight off the blocks, take it on and shed, get loose in the hole so that when Staley turns up, bam, there's 2 guys to hit him right away. Nice job by the Rebels.
They'll go on 4th and 1. Staley looking to get outside. And he'll have the 1st down and some extra yards. Finally forced out of bounds by Kevin Thomas. Luke Staley showing some speed.
And he's a lot faster than he looks. He looks like a big guy, wouldn't be that quick. He runs a 4.38 40, has 7% body fat, and he just turns on the jets and beats him to the corner to get the 1st down.
How about you?
4.38. Goodness.
BYU now 4 for 5 on 4th down conversions this season.
Look at that formation at the top.
Batted away. Ahmad Briggs.
They had a diamond cluster, 4 receivers at the top. Ahmad Briggs does a great job coming across, getting his hands up and knocking down that screen pass. But that would have been, if it was completed, a pass to a guy with now 3 blockers right in front of him.
Donald Ashford with the caravan as well as open yardage in front. Gary Croton, extremely innovative.
He's not afraid to think outside the box, and he starts creating.
They'll go from the shotgun on 2nd down. McDonald Ashford with room. Bounces off one tackler and finally dropped, but not before he gets inside the 10-yard line. Sam Brandon, the man who met him first and just hung on to his shoelace.
Nothing's more demoralizing than a team that can just come out and run over you. You look at BYU and what they've done in the 2nd quarter in their first 3 games, 77-7, they're outscoring. But when you can line up and just knock a hole open and send the guy through for 10 yards, that's demoralizing for a defense.
Donald Ashford, the lone setback. They go with the 3 tight end set. Trying to get outside, and does. Pushed out of bounds by Sam Brandon. It'll be 2nd and goal.
Nice run by McDonald Ashford. That looked at the beginning like it was going to be a negative play, but he showed good speed, outrunning the guy who had to contain, and then was able to get up the field before Sam Brandon knocked him out of bounds. Very nice run. And here's where 2nd and 4. I say you go for it. You pass the ball. You try to get into the end zone. See what happens.
Staley in the backfield. They'll give it to Luke. Tries the middle. Close to the goal line. Still fighting.
That ball.
And they'll signal a touchdown.
That ball came loose, too. Recovered.
Luke Staley scores the touchdown.
Well, I think Justin Anderson scored it. It looked like Luke Staley fumbled it at the last moment. You watch him as he's fighting forward, and first of all, a great run. He gets hit early and just keeps fighting through the pressure, fighting, and this ball's going to come out right at the end here. Oh, he tried to reach it out. His teammate recovers it in the end zone.
Reggie, I thought, looking at that angle, I thought he was down before he reached.
Yeah, that's possible. It might have been.
Point after is good in the second quarter. For BYU continues to be profitable. Justin Anderson picks it up at the goal line. Cougars score and cut the deficit to 4.
When it comes to luxury, Bonneville stands apart.
Back in Las Vegas, our Pontiac Drive summary.
They go 12 plays, 77 yards in 4:20. It was a fumble recovery by Anderson in the end zone after Staley got it down close. And another lucky break for the Cougars that their own guy recovered that ball.
Edmonds skies one. This is Dorsey. He'll bring it out. And he is ripped down. Dominique Dorsey. Oh, he is quick. Just a reminder, coming up on the Valvoline halftime show, John Saunders and Terry Bowden will bring you all the scores and highlights from college football today.
Well, we get to wait and wonder if we're going to see Jason Thomas pass the ball on this drive. I don't know how many passes he's thrown so far. Not many, maybe 2 or 3 on the day. We'll see what happens on this drive. 2 so far today.
And he'll go to the air on first down, and it's intercepted. Intercepted by Justin Ana. First interception of the season.
And here's a situation that can bite you one way or the other. You wait all this time before Jason throws his first pass in a long time, and it gets picked off. Nice play by Anna stepping in front of it, but you got to wonder what that's going to do to Jason's confidence and the confidence of his teammates.
Ana, the middle linebacker, jumping the route, and they'll go with the diamond formation again to the top of your screen. Bowman trying to run and cannot get out of the grasp of number 44, Ahmad Miller.
There's some strength by Ahmad Miller. They'd say that he's really developed physically and become a super run stopper, becoming a better pass rusher there. He just muscled his way through the guard on that play to get to Brandon.
Dolman lost a couple. Call it 2nd and 13. 5 wide receivers. Middle screen incomplete, intended for Rod Wilkerson. Aflac trivia question. BYU holds the NCAA record for most consecutive games without being shut out, 328. Who beat them and when?
Wow. 328 games.
Mm-hmm.
You start thinking about how many there are in a season. You start trying to do the math. Maybe it was 1991. Maybe not.
Big 3rd down. Dolman overshoots his intended target, Justin Anderson.
And what we might be seeing now on these past couple of drives is the overall team speed of the Rebels is just, you look at the completion percentage now, completing 5 of 12, that's less than 50%. And Doman has been up near 70% the first 3 games. And I think the team speed, reacting to the run, reacting to the trick plays, reacting to everything that BYU is bringing to the table, UNLV is doing a great job.
Matt Payne on for this field goal attempt. From 42. It's good. (21-20). UNLV leading the Cougars.
How can you provide for the future of the people who depend on you? With Pacific Life and its expertise in investments, annuities, and insurance, discover the power of Pacific Life.
Some guys take their car's performance a little more seriously than others. That's why they turn to Valvoline SynPower. Synthetic oils, additives, and cleaners.
When you're ready for a cold one, it's gotta be a cold Coors Light. When you're ready for a cold one, it's gotta be a cold Coors Light. When you're ready for a cold one, a Rocky Mountain cold one.
There's cold, and then there's Coors Light. Frost brewed for that Rocky Mountain cold taste.
When you're ready for a cold one, it's gotta be a cold Coors Light.
When it comes to luxury, Bonneville stands apart. When it comes to performance, it stands alone. In 4 separate tests, Bonneville outperformed Lexus, Lincoln, and 300M, proving that prestige is in the performance. You won't want to pass up this offer. Bonneville, luxury with attitude.
ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by the 2002 Pontiac Bonneville, luxury with attitude. Aflac, without it, no insurance is complete. And Valvoline's Max Life, the first motor oil formulated for higher mileage engines.
Maybe I should drink some of that. I've got a high mileage engine.
Mason and Dorsey back deep. Dominique will wisely down it with his back to the field, and the Rebels will start from the 20. Good leg shown today by Aaron Edmonds on kickoffs.
That was a nice defensive stand by the Rebels. That was 4 plays, -3 yards, took 50 seconds, and the Cougars eventually got a 42-yard field goal out of it. But when you consider that, including today, they've scored 25 touchdowns now in their first 4 games, have only kicked 4 field goals. For the Rebels to hold them to 2 field goals early is a huge victory.
Each team has had a pair of turnovers. BYU's only converted the Rebel turnovers to a pair of field goals. UNLV has taken BYU's turnovers into a pair of touchdowns. Joe Haro finding the sledding tough along the right side.
Another, oh, man, it looked, I mean, every time I look down there, it appears that the ball keeps hitting the ground. I don't know if that one came loose again.
Well, each back, Haro, Staley, and company for both sides are trying to get as many yards as they can and not taking what they get and going down, continually fighting and spinning, and oftentimes we see turnovers come out of that.
Exactly. And now for the Rebels, it's going to be interesting, the play calling. You have to be able to pass the ball, but is Jason confident to drop back and throw a pass? You know, unfortunately, his first pass, not a good decision, gets picked off, and now here's a passing situation, but they hand off again.
Haro one more time, cut up by Justin Enna. We sat down with the 66-year-old head coach of the Rebels, and he talked about his budding star quarterback, Jason Thomas.
I think he's become a little tentative. I think we're trying almost too hard to do the right thing. I think he needs to go out and just play the game the way a tailback would play the game. He does a great job of studying stuff and all that, but we have maybe moved him into becoming an intellectual quarterback too much, thinking about too much rather than just playing.
Staley keeps the ball on 3rd and long, and so UNLV hesitant to go back to the air.
And it's unfortunate because that's what you really have to do. They needed to come back out and maybe the very first play back on the field, throw another pass, let Jason have another chance to make a completion, get his confidence back. But when you've got 2nd and 12 and then 3rd and a long obvious passing situation and you refuse to pass it, that just leeches away the confidence of him and everybody else on the offense.
10 minutes and change remaining in the first half. We'll have our first punt. Gary Cook and the long snaps for Las Vegas have been an adventure. This a good snap. End over end. And a big bounce. Rigel looking for room. Cuts back and hits it past the 40-yard line, so decent field position for the BYU Cougars. We'll go back to our Aflac trivia question. BYU holds the record for most consecutive games without being shut out, 328, including today. Who beat them and when? All the way back to the mid-70s. Arizona State Sun Devils, 20-0. That is an amazing record.
And you know what? The only guy on this team who was even alive then was number 69, Aaron McCubbins. He was 2 days old when they last were shut out. He watched the game, too. He's still mad.
Pass complete to Ord. Escapes the first tackler. Finally dropped. Well, Ord, one of the many receivers. BYU has used as many as 12 different receivers in a single game.
17 different guys have caught passes on the year so far, and Ord has been a clutch guy for them. And it's going to be an interesting game now, the way this shapes up. BYU still has their whole attack at their disposal. The Rebels look like they're going to be limited to running quarterback draws and running handoffs unless Jason Thomas gets some confidence.
2nd and 6, complete to Wilkerson. He'll pick up a first down and a little bit more. And we'll go back to New York. John Saunders in Times Square Stadium.
Well, we like to be well-rounded back here in New York, so we're going to give you a little baseball action. Barry Bonds, that is number 69, out towards McCovey Cove. And the splash is on, trying to get the souvenir. Now 1 more to tie Mark McGuire. 2 more in the final 7 games. He'll be number 1 all time.
The amazing Barry Bonds. Thank you, John.
I know that my last name's Rivers, which is aquatic, but I don't know if I get wet to go after a baseball.
Gonna have to do some type of security when he goes for the record. First down. Doman with pressure. Palapoy hits him. Now the ball is loose. Watson had him cough it up. And the Cougars just do recover. Dustin Reichert picking up the spare pigskin.
And the Rebels were coming hard. Man, Palapoy with the spin move gets inside, and from the other side was that Adrian Watson making the hit there. Just both guys on the end coming hard and making the play.
Reichert saying, you know what, I've got each of these guys on an edge, Briggs and Palapoy. I don't have time to recover fumbles. I have enough to worry about.
Exactly. But he knows he was partly responsible for that. He's glad he could fall on that ball and save it.
Complete. Mahe, his favorite target. Sure-handed Reno Mahe. Haven't heard a lot from the big receiver for BYU, Mahe, and we've heard nothing for the best receiver for the Rebels, Troy Mason.
That's very true. Mahe, nice catch there, and nice precision pass by Brandon Doman. You know, for a guy who's only, I think this is his 6th or 7th game that he's starting, he really has a good throwing motion, and considering he was an option quarterback in high school.
Empty backfield on 3rd down. Palapoy can't trip him up. Floats one over the middle. It's tipped and incomplete. He was looking for Soren Holiday. Adam Seward tipped the football.
Nice movement by Doman trying to make a play, but very good coverage by the Rebels. They had everyone blocked up, and when he finally could get the ball away, were able to tip it and keep it from being complete.
Aaron Edmonds on to punt. From the Rebel 40-yard line, he'll do all he can to keep it away from one of the most dangerous return men in the country, Troy Mason. He'll sail this one out of bounds. And he gets a spot at the 8-yard line. UNLV with a 1-point lead and the ball, 7:40 to go in the half.
When it comes to luxury, Bonneville stands apart. When it comes to performance, it stands alone. In 4 separate tests, Bonneville outperformed Lexus, Lincoln, and 300M, proving that prestige.
Las Vegas at Sam Boyd Stadium.
And they've got to throw a pass, I think, on this first play. Because you can't let Jason Thomas sit back there, hand off another ball, and let the pressure keep building without throwing another pass after the interception.
Instead, they go on the ground to Haro, and he's bottled up in the middle, nothing doing.
This is like a running back who has a fumble. You got to get him back on the field and put the ball right back into his hands. You can't go another 15 plays and say, we're not going to hand it off to you, and let that fumble fester in his mind.
About the field position. They're only at the 14-yard line. They do have the 1-point lead. It's an 0-3 Rebel team looking to get off the schneid and get a win. Coach Robinson on first down anyhow, choosing to play it close to the vest. And he'll go Haro one more time. Not going to happen.
But see, now they've set themselves up. They don't pass on first down. They don't pass on second down, which was a passing situation at 2nd and 9. Now they force themselves to pass, and are they going to hand it off again, or are they going to let them pass when the pressure is the greatest?
Flip this around. 6:45 to go. Your defense has played well. If they play it safe one more time, punt it away. If they can hold BYU, I think if they enter the locker room 21-20, they would be pleased.
They would be pleased, but they'll have ruined their quarterback for the second half.
Thomas lets one go deep downfield and tripped up and incomplete. He was looking for Michael Johnson, bracketed and double covered Levi Madrietta. They had good coverage and their feet got tangled. It'll be 4th down.
He let it fly, and you know the hard part is you're out here on the field, you're in front of all these people, you've been reading the clip saying, oh, you haven't lived up to your potential, you're no longer in the Heisman watch, and then to have your coach say, well, you know what, we don't trust you to throw the ball anymore. I think that just starts to fester, and it makes you useless.
Gary Cook from his own end zone. Cougars could end up with excellent field position. Spins one near the 50-yard line. Rigel shot down at the 43-yard line, and we'll head to New York. John Saunders in Times Square Stadium.
On to the SEC. LSU facing Tennessee. Rowan Davey goes back and spots his man way downfield. Michael Clayton, 67 yards. It got behind the secondary easily for the touchdown. LSU strikes first, 7-0 the lead there.
1-point lead in Las Vegas. But the Cougars with the ball in Rebel territory. Doman. Incomplete. Intended for Staley. The network premiere of the season's best new drama, Alias, starts Sunday at 9, 8 Central on ABC. Penalty marker is down. Infraction against BYU, a holding penalty.
Is this the first penalty of the game? I don't recall another one.
Our referee, Gerald Wright.
I think it's our second penalty. You watch number 79. He just, I love you, come lay with me, and you can't do that.
On 1st and 20, they go to the option. Here's Staley. Luke Staley hurdles a defender, still on his feet. And finally dragged down by Adrian Watson.
Luke Staley just doesn't look like he's moving that quick. We get the option pitch out. He just does a great job of starting and stopping. He stuffs his feet, waits for everyone to clear out, then jumps over a guy, makes a couple of guys miss. Just a great job of running. Finally tracked down by Adrian Watson, doing a good job of hustling from the defensive line.
Cougars in business. Doman on the run. He's got Mahe. Still on his feet. He had stepped out of bounds and then gets decked. Shenga Wilson.
You'll see Mahe do that move over and over again. Every time he's near the sideline, he catches the ball, stops, and lets the defender go through him. And you look at it. If you watch BYU play all the time, you say, well, why don't they know he's going to do that? But he's so elusive. He makes it look like he's going to take that next step and just is able to stop, make the first guy miss.
3 tight ends set on 2nd down. Donald Ashford. Only a couple.
The defensive end crashing down made that play. He forced Doman to pitch it before he was ready to pitch it. The ball goes out a little bit wide, and so that play is ruined before it can ever get started. Nice play by Palapoi.
3rd down and 3. Rebel defense has bent throughout this game and allowed a couple field goals, but they have made crucial stops, and thus the 1-point lead.
They stop him here. This will be the 3rd time they've held them to a field goal in their own territory.
Swing pass incomplete over the head of Toby Christensen.
And you look at the shadows on the field. It's possible he lost that ball in the sun. Those shadows are running straight east and west across the field. You look at as the players are moving around, how their shadows are running toward the sideline. It looked like that ball came right out of the sun and he couldn't see it.
Matt Payne, the hold from Aaron Edmonds. And 41. No good.
Wow. How about this Rebel defense?
The Rebels hold the 1-point lead as Payne missed the field goal attempt.
Man, this is 3 times that the Rebels have stopped this offense. You know, you come into this game, you look at the offense, producing 600 yards of total offense a game, scoring 55 points a game, just doing pretty much whatever they want to do in every game. And now this defense, they've been able to shut them down, hold them to field goals twice, and now a missed field goal.
Dorsey in the I formation. Thomas to the air, complete. And he's got a completion. The pass is complete to Michael Johnson. Let's go to John Saunders, Times Square Stadium, for a look at what's coming up at halftime.
Alongside Terry Bowden, we'll let you know that we'll have all the scores and highlights of a wild and crazy day. And also last week, your dad and your brother both kind of took it on the chin. This week, a little different.
John, you can lose to anybody in this business, but if you're going to lose early because you got the rest of the season to come back and maybe get back in the top.
All right, that's all coming up on the Valvoline Halftime Show when you are done with the first half.
Roughing the passer.
And And the good news for Rebel fans is that they can call roughing the passer. Jason Thomas actually went back and threw a pass. Gets hit, not too bad, but it's pretty late after the ball comes in, and it was with his helmet. But he completes the pass. That's what they needed to do on first down.
Thomas wasn't shy about letting us know he needs to find a rhythm. He asked why so poor in one game and why so excellent in another. His response, I don't know. Short one again. First look at Mason. Troy Mason. Those are the types of plays that can get number 2 moving.
This is perfect play calling here. Nothing real fancy, nothing real complicated. Take the ball, throw it to somebody. I don't care if he was going to throw it to the offensive tackle. Throw it to somebody. Let him get some confidence. Let his receivers get some confidence. You get your passing game back into the attack. Good job by John Robinson here.
Thomas will keep it. Not much doing. Well, they'll call a few option plays throughout the game, maybe from 6 to 8. Thomas is not a big fan of running the option. John Robinson is the head coach. He also calls the plays.
He does. And you know what Thomas said when you talked to him a couple of days ago was that what he likes is when he drops back and then the field is spread out, he can just create. The actual called options, the called quarterback draws, that's not really his forte. He's more of a playmaker.
Second down 10 to the air. Deep, the only man back there, the BYU defender, and it's incomplete. Dustin Staley, the man closest to the ball and the only one who had a legitimate shot of making the catch.
If you're a Rebel fan, you're praying that that thing would fall incomplete. If you're a Cougar fan, you were hoping he would pick that one off. But you look how good the coverage is. He throws this one up here. If you're a human being, you've got to thank goodness that that play was not picked off, because I don't know that Jason Thomas could handle that at this point.
4 wide receivers. 3rd and 10. Pressure. Tripped up. Still on his feet and now dropped. Ryan Denny and Jeff Cowart finally corral Jason Thomas.
The good news for the Rebels there is that they came out and they threw passes. Every play on that drive was a pass play. Yes, some of them were incomplete. Yes, he got sacked, but they dropped back and tried to pass the ball, and I think that's an important thing for them to set up the second half.
Gary Cook will look to pin the Cougars deep. Spins this one into the end zone. It'll come out to the 20. Back at Sam Boyd Stadium, a near capacity crowd for this Mountain West opener between BYU and UNLV. Rich Cellini alongside Reggie Rivers. This is the game we had hoped for, but not necessarily the game we expected.
Not at all. You come into this one with BYU being 3-0, UNLV 0-3. I think BYU favored by double digits coming into this game. It has really shaped up to be a battle. UNLV's defense has really shown up today.
They'll have a test right here. 2:49 remaining in the half. Staley. Luke Staley picks up 12 yards on the carry before Sam Brandon can bring him down. And Brandon is still down.
And Staley is so strong. Man, it looked like Steve Newton coming down the line, number 45 in red, was going to catch him before he could make the turn, but he just fought right through that arm tackle and then pushing his way up the field. And Brandon, we hope that he's not hurt badly here as he's down on the field and the trainers attend to him. You watch the end of the play as he gets hit here. It looks like his ankle might have gotten twisted. Oh, right on the shoulder. Yeah, when that helmet comes in, and the way your shoulder pads come over the end of your arm, they don't come very far over. So when a helmet comes in like that, it can get right up there under your pads and onto your skin.
Jamian Sutton, his teammate, Imagine they may have a conversation on the sideline or next week. Thanks, but no thanks. Hit the guy in the white shirt, not the red one.
Exactly.
Brandon, this would be a big loss. The leading tackler on the Rebels coming into this game today.
Take another look at this. The helmet's going to come right underneath his pad, right underneath that 42. And it just, you don't have much cover there. The good news is that a hit on that spot most likely is a bruise. I mean, it's not a place where you've got, I mean, these guys they're in the gym all the time. Those are your deltoid muscles. They're really developed. And so there's not a whole lot that can break or get fractured or get torn right in there with that kind of hit. Probably a bruise, but I tell you what, that would be a bruise that hurts for a while.
Brandon being escorted off the field. Jamal Brimmer listed as the backup. And number 27 into the game for the Rebels, replacing their leaders.
It looks like as he walks off the field, like his arm might have fallen asleep a little bit. The worst is when your arm starts to come back to life. It's sort of like when your foot goes to sleep and then it starts to get that tingling. After a hit like that and your arm starts to come back, woo!
Let's take a look at what BYU does. Gary Croton looks for mismatches. See if he goes after the new addition. Instead, it's Staley. Nothing doing. New York Jets are undefeated in their last 4 appearances on Monday Night Football, including last season's stunning comeback victory over the Dolphins. Now Jeff Garcia and the 49ers will try to stop the Jets. Monday Night Magic. That's Monday Night Football, 9 Eastern on ABC.
Ding, 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 ding. Doesn't your heart get going every time you hear it?
Oh, yeah. 2nd and 13. Complete. Justin Anderson makes the catch.
Justin Anderson, receiver.
Nice play by Kevin Thomas, but now we get a 3rd down situation. Probably going to pass again.
They'll go from the shotgun. Keep an eye on number 20 in the slot, Reno Mahe. Steady looks left. Still trying to go left. Got it. Complete. Andrew Ord. Now he's had him open a number of times today. He's only been able to hit him twice. 2 timeouts remaining for the Cougars.
Now the clock stops here just long enough for them to move the chains, and then it should get started again.
Doman pumps deep. The defender fell down. The pass is caught. And going in for a BYU touchdown is Rod Wilkerson. The Cougars have been magical just before the half this season.
Last game they were able to do it. I bet he ran some kind of stop and go over on that side. You know, they go over there, they run 2 stop patterns, 2 kind of curls, and then I bet they had a stop and go. The defender reacts, falls down.
Gary Croton is called timeout following the 54-yard touchdown pass to Wilkerson.
We take a look at this on the right-hand side of your screen. Why don't you see if he does, quick little stop and go. And the defender, after you run those 2 stops in a row on that side of the ball, you set it up. And now the defender is starting to break on that ball and run right past him. You watch Doman reacting to this. Now, cool and calm, saying, hey, let's get it lined up. We're up by 5. That means we go for 2.
Well, the coaches had said he is indeed a very modest young man, and it had been such a journey to become the starting quarterback for the Cougars that after a game he can throw for 300 yards, and they say, you were wonderful. Say, no, you guys were great. You guys call great plays. It's easy for me out there when you guys call such good plays.
And they say that he's a fun player to coach for that reason. He's not caught up in his own numbers. He's not caught up in the glory. He just wants to win for his football team, and he gives credit where credit is due. And just a great job of play calling to set that up, and then great execution by the wide receiver to get that stop and go and haul in that pass.
Report from the UNLV sideline. Brandon's shoulder injury should allow him to come back in the second half. Cougars looking for a 2-point conversion. Doman will do it himself. 28-21 BYU.
Well, this is what the Cougars have been able to do, score quickly and score in the second quarter before the half. You know, it gives the Rebels something to think about when they're in there at halftime. But the Rebels have to be happy with the way they've played so far and to make this game what it is so far. That was 5 plays, 80 yards they went in 1:55 and culminating with a 54-yard touchdown pass on that. Not even a stop and go, more of a stutter go. If you set it up well enough, the guy doesn't even have to stop all the way. Stutter his feet, the defenders react, and boom, you run right past him.
BYU and Brandon Doman. Said Brandon Doman before the season. Not sure you would have gotten much of a response outside of the state of Utah.
Maybe not even in the state.
You're probably right.
But now, across the country, everybody knows who he is.
Mason and Dorsey back deep. If I were the Cougars, I think I would take a look at what Mason can do with the kickoff return. Instead, they'll play it safe, and it'll be fielded by one of the up men plowing ahead. That is George Gordon. So the Rebels have 3 timeouts. They trail by 7 in 49 seconds.
49 seconds is long enough for them to move. They're at the 33-yard line right now. If they can get the ball inside the opposite 30, they've got a chance to make a field goal, and 49 seconds is plenty of time to do that. The question is, does Jason Thomas have enough confidence to pull it off, and does John Robinson have the confidence to call the right plays to pull it off?
Get a chance to go to the air. Safe pass, complete. He's got the tight end plowing ahead to John Manley.
They use their first timeout. And I like it. You know, you call a play. You let Thomas roll out of the pocket a little bit where he's most comfortable.
Well, we have a moment. Let's take a look at our Pacific Life game summary.
Here's the first score with the fumble picked up and run into the end zone by Olsen. That was the first score. Then they come back with Staley on the swing pass, getting into the end zone. We've got Haro muscling his way into the end zone, breaking the plane. And then the interception by Brandon that also led to a touchdown. And Staley again here fumbles at the end of this, but recovered by BYU in the end zone. And then the last one on the stutter go makes one guy fall down, then makes another guy miss and gets into the end zone. It's our Pacific Life game summary.
7-point advantage for the 20th ranked BYU Cougars. Rebels now down to 2 timeouts. And the head men, John Robinson first, and now Gary Croton in his first season, replacing the legendary Lavelle Edwards at BYU. First down for the Rebels. Thomas. Outside on the edge, he's dangerous. Heaves one up, and this is going to be intercepted at the 5-yard line. Pass picked off by Gennaro Guilford.
And we've got unsportsmanlike conduct on Guilford, too. Threw that ball at the receiver at the end of that play. But there you just got a glimpse of the greatness and the mistake of Jason Thomas. The greatness, the little move that he makes on that defensive end to buy himself some more time, and then heaving that ball down the field. Now you just have the immaturity and the mistakes that he's making, throwing that ball up into double coverage. unsportsmanlike conduct after he intercepted this ball as he was getting up. He just threw it in the face of the receiver, and of course you can't do that. Both referees immediately threw their flags.
Remember, this BYU offense has quick strike capability. 29 seconds, they do have a timeout.
You look at the takeaways, giveaways. You know, BYU's been +3 on the season, UNLV -4. Of course, that's changed a little bit so far in this game, but it's been a key on the season. You can't turn it over and win. Oh, that is updated. Okay, those are as of today.
Doan and company will take a 7-point lead into the locker room. 28-21, BYU leading UNLV. While we're at halftime, let's go to Times Square Stadium in New York. John Saunders, Terry Bowden.
All right, guys, thanks a lot. We'll get back to the second half in a moment, and that 7-point lead for BYU. UNLV got out of the gates early. And speaking of early, we got out of the gates at noon with a terrific game between Kansas State and Oklahoma. Oklahoma beat them twice last year, going to the national championship. Nate Hibble, 75 yards to Antoine Savage. What a game for Hibble, especially early.
It was supposed to be a defensive struggle, but if somebody's going to beat Oklahoma, you're not going to blitz him and play man coverage. He threw 3 touchdowns over 60 yards, and this guy not too bad himself.
Yeah, L. Roberson leads them back when he hooks up with Ricky Lloyd and a 2-point conversion, 3-point game. Then after a safety, this is a chance to try and come up with a win on the Hail Mary. Tosses it down there. It bounces away. But again, Kansas State decided to gamble earlier on their defense, and it bit them.
John, they didn't think they could score 37 points. They had to take chances. If they would have known they could score that much, no way they would have given so many easy touchdowns to Oklahoma.
Now, 17 consecutive wins for Oklahoma, 16 consecutive wins at home. Texas all over Texas Tech, 21-7. Chris Sims has a 40-yard touchdown pass and a 1-yard touchdown run. He completed the first 10 passes he threw, 13 for 15 right now. Now, next Saturday at 12:30 Pacific on ABC, it's the Red River Shootout, Texas against Oklahoma, and both teams coming in unbeaten.
And Texas Tech's head coach, Mike Leach, was the offensive coordinator who put the Oklahoma offense in. Theirs is exactly alike. Texas is getting a little preview of what they're going to see against Oklahoma.
Interesting. A little test right there early on. Again, it's 28-21. Back with the day's scores and highlights. And again, there's some scores and highlights you are going to want to see.
The Valvoline Halftime Show, brought to you by Valvoline's Max Life, the first motor oil formulated for higher mileage engines. From Times Square in New York, John Saunders and Terry Bowden.
28-21, BYU has the lead against UNLV. Let's talk about UCLA. When you talk about that team, you talk about a club that had no defense. Over the last 3 years, 15 times they gave up 30-plus points. First 3 games this year, a total of 40 points. But taking on Oregon State today, would things be different? Corey Paws on offense, 38 yards to Brian Pauly-Dixon, and the lead was 17-0. And really, Oregon State never threatened in this game. Deshaun Foster from 17 yards out takes it in for the touchdown. 31 carries, 147 yards, 3 touchdowns. Corey Paws, 12 of 24, 216 yards, and a couple of touchdowns as well. But again, just talk about this defense of UCLA.
Well, I've remained leery of UCLA because of who they've played and how poorly their offenses are. If they would have won 44-43, I would say same old UCLA, they'll blow it. But this defense is for real, and now their chances in the Pac-10 are for real, John.
The first 4 games this year, 17 points, 17 points, 6 points, and Ohio State in those 6 points did not get an offensive touchdown, and 7 points
And
today.
you would have think Oregon State being off would have had a good offensive plan for them, but they couldn't do a thing.
They could ride their defense perhaps to the Rose Bowl for a national championship. Washington against Cal. And Washington has to come back and win this one once again as they trailed in it. But Cal's 0-4. Big surprise they were down to this club.
Well, they were the cardiac dogs last year. They always came from behind. This year, they've already come from behind against Michigan and Cal. It's part of Rick Neuhausel's personality. Very positive. You just believe he can do anything. It's his nature. But you know what? This is not a good Cal team. They've given up 44, 51 points. This is not a good improvement game for Washington.
Just from a preparation standpoint, when they're preparing for Miami in the that game was postponed. Does that throw you off a little bit?
Well, it does throw you off if you're focused on them and then you lose sight of these teams that are not as good. They were not quite as good against Cal as they probably would have been the week before.
All right, Stanford facing USC, and USC lost a heartbreaker last week. And right now down 21-3 in the third quarter.
Stanford is the team. This is a very good Stanford team. If they can hold on, this will be the first time they've been 3-0 against USC since 1986.
Fasani with a couple of touchdown passes already. Clemson, Georgia Tech, a wild one. Sidney Ford from 10 yards out. Two-point conversion not good, but Georgia Tech up 38-34. Woody Dantzler in all kinds of trouble here. This was 4th and 13, 64 yards to J.J. McKelvey, and Clemson's on top. But then Luc Manger with a 20-yard field goal sends the game to overtime. And again, Dantzler bailed them out.
Huge win for Clemson. And you got to say the ACC now is a wide-open conference.
Dantzler, 18 of 32, 254 yards and a couple of touchdowns. 25 carries for 164 yards. Clearly, without Dantzler, they're not even in this game.
A Heisman performance, if there ever was one. Don't know if he's going to get back in it, but it was an unbelievable performance.
All right, so Clemson goes to 1-1 in the conference. Wake Forest against Florida State. Bobby Bowden, perhaps thinking back to the loss to North Carolina, didn't look like it. Maddox from 17 yards out for the touchdown. Wake Forest was on the board, but Florida State up 14-7. It was 21-7 when Chris Ricks goes 52 yards to Javon Walker and hits him on the fly, 28-7 at that point. Ricks has thrown 3 touchdown passes after that turnover-plagued loss to North Carolina last week.
I talked to my other brother, Jeff Bowden, offensive coordinator at Florida State. He said, I got to get Dad to open it up, give Ricks more passing plays. They did that today. They're doing much better, having more wide-open offense.
Alabama against South Carolina. South Carolina's never beaten Alabama on the field. Tyler Watts, 9-yard touchdown run, 36-24, Alabama's up. But Phil Petty comes back, 7 yards to Rod Trafford. And South Carolina grabs the lead on the extra point. And keep in mind, Alabama missed an extra point earlier in the game. South Carolina's second straight year at 4-0, and their first win ever on the field against Alabama.
You know, Dennis Franchione's a great rebuilder, but he played against the master rebuilder, Lou Holtz. And this is a big, big win for Lou Holtz.
All right, LSU and Tennessee. Rowan Davey looking for Michael Clayton. Got the protection, steps up and rifles it downfield, covers 67 yards. Clayton is wide open. LSU with a 7-0 lead. The story in this game for Tennessee right now, Casey Clausen has been picked off 2 times. LSU with a 7-3 lead. Stick around. Back with more of the Valvoline Halftime Show in just a moment. All right, well, I haven't lost a game at all this year. Mississippi State taking on Florida today. Rex Grossman is going to win a lot of games for Steve Spurrier if he continues to play the way he has so far this year.
How many light years ago was that preseason controversy about who was going to be the starting quarterback?
Yeah, Caldwell with a couple of receptions there and the easy win. Nebraska against Missouri, another good quarterback. Eric Crouch flushed out of the pocket, and he takes it 95 yards, the longest touchdown run in Nebraska history.
He can run it, but throw the ball a little more. You got Oklahoma down the road. You got to run and throw when you get there.
191 yards on the ground. That's a school record for a quarterback. 36-3 the final. Central Florida facing Virginia Tech. Andre Davis, as Beamer gets it done with special teams once again.
Same old, same old. 5 turnovers they caused. 19 points, the first 19 off of turnovers.
Keith Burnell with 21 carries for 82 yards and a couple of touchdowns. People they've been playing haven't been that tough, but they've been impressive.
They've got the least impressive schedule in the country, but the most impressive victories in the country. They're doing all they can.
All right, on to the Big Ten, where Illinois was facing Michigan in the Big House, and the Wolverines wanted revenge. John Navarre starts it out early. Pitches to Walter Cross. 19 yards to Marquise Walker for the touchdown. Walker at 108 yards in reception. Michigan State Northwestern, what a game. Fourth quarter late. Zach Kustok, 54 yards to John Schweiger, gets it down to the 32, and it sets it up for David Wazalewski. 47 yards on the field goal, punches it right through, and Northwestern starts 3-0 for the first time since '62. Purdue and Minnesota, Brandon Hance. Purdue trailed this entire game, but this is OT. 20 yards to John Standiford, and Purdue is up 35-28. A chance for Minnesota now. Travis Cole gets picked up by Stuart Schweigert, ends the game. Hance, 21 of 35 for 300 yards, and the big win in a game they trailed throughout. Joe Tiller Well, he dodged a bullet in that one, but most impressive today in the Big Ten, I'd have to say, is Michigan.
Oh, yeah, Purdue, Northwestern, they won in the last seconds. Ohio State still has offensive problems. Michigan, though, beat a very good Illinois team. They made the first statement of who's going to win this conference.
All right, a couple other scores before we leave you here. New Mexico facing Utah in no match from 37-16, and Colorado State all over Wyoming, 42-14. This is the Valvoline Halftime Show. Some of the young athletes here in Times Square. A little breakdance in action.
You can never be tackled.
You have to be an athlete to do that. Notre Dame against Texas A&M. Derek Farmer, 31 yards in the touchdown. The Irish trying to avoid going 0-3 for the first time in the history of the school. Mark Ferris pitches it back to Oshler Fleming. Throws it back to Ferris. 22 yards on this touchdown reception. And yes, the Irish 0-3 for the first time in their history, but also 0-3 Penn State. And Terry, they've got Michigan, Northwestern, Ohio State, Southern Miss, and Illinois in their next 5 games.
In the U, they have no answers to their problems. They have no offense. They don't have an offensive plan. It looks like what they were doing last year. They're trying to make it work this year. It won't. It's an old-fashioned plan, and it's done with players that aren't as good as they used to be.
Yeah, Liddell Betts had a good game in that one. 33 carries for 95 yards. Right now, the second half, BYU and UNLV. Let's join Rich Cicciolini.
Back in Las Vegas, where the BYU Cougars lead UNLV 28-21. Fans enjoying the halftime ABC Sports presentation of college football will return after this message and a word from our ABC stations. For this late afternoon affair, Twilight now with us. And the UNLV Rebels and their ever-dangerous number 6, Dominic Dorsey, will get the ball first, trailing by a touchdown. Dorsey from the corner at the goal line. He's got room. Kicker trips him up, and Dorsey is out near the 50-yard line, and he is able to ignite this UNLV crowd. Doug Jolly finally tripped him up.
We've got to give props to Dominique Dorsey. Another great return. But to the kicker, too, this is the second time the kicker has gotten, first time made the tackle, this time gotten away enough so that somebody else could make the tackle. But just a nice run back by Dominique Dorsey, an exciting player.
It's Thomas and company with good field position.
They should throw a pass right off the bat.
And he will. Complete. Johnson. Wrapped up. Jano Guilford drops him. Look at our Morgan Stanley well-connected storyline.
And this is about what you might expect. BYU in total yards 287. But what's surprising on there are the turnovers. 2 for BYU. That's twice what they've had in their past 3 games. 3 for UNLV. Well, that's been their woes all along.
Grabbed and dropped by Denny and Justin Ina. Well, it appears the Cougar defense is going to set up and stop the run and make Jason Thomas beat him with their arm.
And ultimately, he's going to have to beat not just the Cougars, but a lot of teams with his arm as the season goes along. And in game 4, you've got to think about the whole season. Think about how much confidence does he have? What can we do to try to build up his confidence?
On 3rd and 3. Got a receiver wide open. It's complete. Bobby Nero has a first down inside the 30-yard line.
And this is just a nice throw and catch, nice strike. Watch Nero gets off the line, avoids the hit off the line, and just sets in a hole. It's zone coverage, finds a hole, sits down. Nice delivery by Thomas. That was a very good avoid of the bump on the line of scrimmage.
Naro Guilford, the cornerback, with the whiff. Option. Dorsey juggling, ball on the turf, still loose. And it appears that Dorsey did get it back.
Oh. That could have been disastrous. But that's one of those, once that ball hits your hands and it starts to bobble, that clock is going in your head. He never really grabs this thing, but that clock's okay. I still got. Oh my gosh, it's on the ground. I got it. I won't know it's a loose. Oh yeah, I got it. I mean, when you're running back, there is all kinds of panic in your head.
Ryan Denny, who's 6'7", 275 pounds, did have a hand on it. Dorsey able to get it away. Thomas slips and falls down. Lost his footing and fell to the turf.
Now the coaches have to look at their playbook and say, what do we have that gets us 17 yards? There aren't a whole lot of those plays in the playbook.
Short list. Loses a 3rd down and 18.
3rd down.
The 6 for 11 is not too bad. If get away from those 2 interceptions, and now Thomas will take a timeout. We'll take a break with them. 11:53 remaining in the 3rd quarter. BYU 28, UNLV 21. Trailing by 7 points. They've been a touch sloppy with regard to turnovers, but they have yet to commit a penalty throughout this game.
See if they get it to number 86, Mason.
Pressure. Thomas is sacked. Ryan Denny and Brett Kiesel, the ends converge and drop number 2.
Just great explosion coming off the ball. Number 92 at the bottom beats the tackle and just never slows down. A great job by Ryan Denny. He's having a good year. He's relentless, as coaches say.
Gary Cook gone to punt. Mike Rigel waiting back at the 10. Cook arches one high and just into the end zone. It'll come out to the 20. Rashard Dodd Masters down trying to make the play for UNLV. Tomorrow, ABC Sports travels to Indianapolis. Michael Schumacher, the winningest driver in Formula One history, back to defend his title at the SAP US Grand Prix. Tomorrow, live from the Brickyard, 1:30 Eastern on ABC. Doman and company will begin work from the 20. Mahe with some moves and able to get 4 yards, and now the ball is loose and the Rebels say they have it. No signal yet. Now it's UNLV's football. Shamian Sutton.
Great elusiveness by Mahe, making one guy miss, making another guy miss, and then getting it up the field. But as often happens when you're fighting for yards like that, the ball gets loose when that 3rd or 4th guy hits you.
Ryan Claridge knocked it loose. Golden opportunity for John Robinson and the UNLV Rebels. Haro. Couple over the left side. Justinina with the stop.
Well, we see again that John Robinson keeps calling the running plays. You know, he has had a couple of drives along the way where he's dropped back and allowed Jason Thomas to throw the ball. But I think it's just they're not sure of Jason's confidence. They don't have confidence in him right now, and they're playing things pretty conservatively.
2nd and 8. They go option. Thomas will keep. Gets down to the 20. Will make it 3rd down and 6.
But what they keep doing to themselves is just this. If they're not going to throw it on 1st down, they're not going to throw it on 2nd down, then they're going to keep putting themselves in 3rd and obvious throwing situations. So now Thomas has to drop back and throw the ball when the defense is expecting it.
If you're wondering about the Rebels' kicking game, suspect at best.
Well, Don't be surprised if they go for it on 4th down.
Be surprised at all. Haro in the backfield. And he gets the carry. Joe Haro up the middle with the Rebel first down.
You cannot argue with success, but 3rd and 6, you hand it off. That's just not a high percentage play, but they get the first down, so everything works out. But it just points to, again, they just do not have confidence right now in Jason Thomas to throw the ball.
They needed 6. Haro got him 10. Dominic Dorsey in the backfield, and he'll get the carry straight up the middle, finding room, sliding to the outside, to the end zone. Touchdown, Rebels!
This kid is just fun to watch. His very first collegiate carry, he went 18 yards. Here you see him just making moves, making people miss, fights off at the end to get into the end zone. He's explosive, he's quick, he's a playmaker. You know, his first kickoff return as a college player went 85 yards. He's a true freshman, and he's going to be making some big, big plays.
Pfeiffer knots the score at 28. We'll take a break. UNLV and BYU tied, 9:22 to go in the quarter. Presentation of college football brought to you by Chevy Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. Original Cougars, nothing beats an original. And Pacific Life Annuities, insurance, investments. Discover the power of Pacific Life. Rigel from the 3. Some room outside. And Rigel gets it out to the 42-yard line. Good field position for the Cougars. Derek Olson makes the stop.
You look at the turnovers that we've had in this game. BYU has turned over 3, but they've only gotten 6 points off the turnovers they've received. UNLV 3 and have scored 21 points off of turnovers. Is the difference in the game right now.
28-28. Mountain West Conference opener for BYU and UNLV. On the ground, Staley. Only a couple over the left side.
You look at that last drive. Now, we questioned the play calling, but there were 2 big plays. First, the run by Hara, the 10-yard run to get the first down, and then the 12-yard run by Dorsey. Dominique Dorsey just getting lost back there behind his offensive lineman and finding his way into the end zone. 4 plays, 24 yards. It took a minute 26, and Dorsey gets the score. So they don't appear to have confidence in Jason Thomas to pass the ball, but it's working out for him.
When you're 0-3 and you're UNLV, any way you can. Dolman from the shotgun. Pressure. Sacked. Ahmad Miller drags him to the turf.
Man, Ahmad Miller, we were talking to the coaches about him earlier. They said he is really developing physically. He is just strong. So you see every time he makes a play, there's no finesse about him. He just muscles his way through the linemen and gets to the quarterback.
The thing they love about him most, it says his motor never stops running.
Yeah.
3rd down. They try the middle screen. It's complete. Soren Holiday with the catch.
And you look at the defensive linemen on that play, Adrian Watson and Anton Palapoy, as soon as they came through, they smelled it. They stopped rushing, turned right around. The pass was completed, but they were able to make the stop just a couple of yards beyond the line of scrimmage. Great job of recognition.
Edmonds on to punt. Troy Mason waits at the 10. It's a thunderous kick. And it'll go into the end zone, and UNLV will have the ball at the 20 when we come back. Rebels trying to take the lead when we come back. Afternoon at Sam Boyd Stadium. Watching their winless UNLV Rebels put up quite the fight.
And I'm going to say again, it's first down. I think you need to throw a pass, some little pass, to give Jason an opportunity.
They haven't been that effective on first down. Instead, they go to the inside handoff by their best player today, Haro, and the ball is loose. Ball on the turf one more time. The referees will unpile them.
Not much enthusiastic pointing by the BYU boys, so I'm guessing that the Rebels recovered this one. Usually, even when they know they don't have it, somebody's saying, oh, we got it, man, we got it.
There's that number 61, the center. Peter Tramontanis comes up with the football. Joe Haro, been the workhorse, but players who have been outstanding. Haro for UNLV, Staley for BYU. Trouble holding on to the football.
Yeah.
Second down, 5. Dorsey trying to slip outside and does. Dominique Dorsey with the first down. We sat down with John Robinson about recovering from an 0-3 start.
What happens to you is when you're not winning, you begin to behave differently. You walk around with a scowl on your face, you lose confidence and do this. So if you can behave just the same as if you were 3-0 and going into your first league game, that's the best you can do. If you lose a league game, say, well, the champion's only going to, the champion in this conference will lose one game. So you cannot get too caught up in all this stuff. You just got to play the game you're getting ready for.
What the coach was selling to his players, they certainly have bought.
They were ready to play in this one from the start, especially the defense. The defense has been the key for UNLV. They've created turnovers. They have stood up in the face of turnovers by their offense, and now it's tied 28-21. They've got a shot.
Dorsey on the right side. Dominique Dorsey slipping through and almost broke it. Levi Madrietta finally able to tackle him around by the ankles. Dorsey appears to be about a half step quicker than everybody else on the field.
It's like once he gets the ball, you put the film and fast forward. He is just moving along, and he's exciting to watch, and he's one of these guys who is a threat to score every time he touches the ball.
Scores rolling from across the country. And the Longhorns pasting Texas Tech. Big game next week. Oklahoma and Texas. First down, UNLV. Option. They're going to reverse it. Mason cuts inside and is tripped up by Brett Kiesel.
We talked earlier in the game about how the BYU defense was so focused on staying in their lanes and containing Jason Thomas. Well, there's a time where the discipline on the backside helped them with that reverse. Kiesel was not fooled for a moment. He was in the right place, makes the tackle for a loss.
Loss of 3. Second and 13. Thomas keep it himself. There was miscommunication before that snap. Thomas lifting his leg, trying to get people to go in motion. That and a broken play before it got started. More college football next Saturday. ABC Sports brings you regional action at 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific. Defending national champion Oklahoma Sooners take on Chris Sims, the 5th-ranked Texas Longhorns. Some of you will see Michigan versus Penn State.
Now, there have been 7 plays in this drive, and I don't believe that we have seen a single pass in this drive. So we come back to start the second half. And they have, you know, they're just flat not going to pass the ball.
Not converted a 3rd and long today. Mason. He'll have to do it himself. Unable to shake free of Gennaro Guilford.
But that's the type of pass you can call on 1st or 2nd down to give yourself a short yardage situation. When you call it on 3rd and 10, it's still a good play, but by then it's too late. Coach Robinson is going to have to take a chance and just say, you know what, we're going to throw the ball.
Instead, on 4th down, they will punt. Mike Rigel waits back at the 10. Cook from the Cougar 42. Try to pin them back deep. Offs this one high. Fair catch called for and made at the 12. At the conclusion of today's game, we will select a Chevrolet player of the game from each team. Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. Robinson on the sideline, always coaching, always teaching.
Yeah.
And if he's talking to officials, always politicking.
Or complimenting. Sometimes the officials just need a pat on the butt.
Doman to the air. Middle screen. Here's Staley. Tackled by Ryan Claridge.
Nice job by Claridge there, fighting off the blocker to make the tackle, but a well-designed play by BYU. Get everybody rushing in and hit the middle screen.
Under the 3-minute mark in the 3rd quarter for UNLV. Longer they can keep it close, higher their hopes remain for the upset. Staley, nothing doing on the left side.
Now it's 3rd and 3. And this is a huge play for the UNLV defense. And they've got to be confident. They know that throughout this game, when they had to make a stand, they've made it. If they make another one here and force this vaunted BYU deep offense to punt again.
They get a stop here and force them to punt. And start to win the battle of field position.
Quarterback draw.
He escapes pressure. He'll keep it himself. Brandon Doman has the 1st down and more. Cutting back and finally upended by Jamal Wynn. The athletic ability of Brandon Doman and the failure by the Rebel defense to contain on the outside.
He drops back intending to pass. As soon as things break down, he sees the opening and he says, I'm getting the 1st down. I'm not going to be a quarterback. I'm going to be an athlete, and I'm just going to go out and make the play.
Cougars on the move. Jolly goes in motion. And he's going to look deep down the field. And that'll be interference. He was looking for Rod Wilkerson. Jamal Wynn was beat. And he tackled Wilkerson long before the ball arrived.
And what happened to Wynn there is he's running in chase position. He's not looking back at the ball. When the receiver stops to slow down, he thinks, oh, there's the catch. And the ball is nowhere near him, but he doesn't know that because he's not looking back. Pretty easy call for the officials on that one.
Cougars putting together an impressive drive. And that is the 1st.
Pass interference, defense, 15 yards from the previous spot, automatic 1st down.
Welcome back to Sam Boyd Stadium. Great crowd on hand, and they have been treated to a 28-28 tie. Rich Cellini alongside Reggie Rivers. 1:24 to go in the third. UNLV just committed their first penalty of the afternoon, but it is a costly one. Cougars drive stays alive. Mahe with the catch. The defender falls down, and Mahe is all the way down to the 33-yard line. So dangerous after the catch.
Mahe, they describe him, the coaches do, as a running back playing receiver. He is by far their best receiver, catches the most passes, and has a knack for getting open, great hands, and then making plays with the ball after he's got it.
To the air on first down. Looking. Batted away. Kevin Thomas batted it away. He had 48 career breakups before today's game. Chalk up number 49, best in Rebel history.
And Kevin Thomas is an NFL prospect. This ball is in the air. He sees it. He knows, hey, knock it away. You bat it. You never know, one of your fellow defenders might be able to get it as well. But nice play.
They'll have to lead the defensive backs as Sam Brandon, who injured his shoulder, has not returned for UNLV. Staley. Not this time. New York Jets undefeated in their last 4 appearances on Monday Night Football, including last season's stunning comeback win over the Dolphins. Now Jeff Garcia and the 49ers will try to stop the Jets' Monday Night Magic. Monday Night Football, 9 Eastern on ABC. Time winding down, 28-28. Gary Croton's team has not been tested this far into a game in 2001. 3rd and 10. Bowman steps up, pressure, eludes the rush, directs traffic, and hits Staley. Staley breaks a tackle all the way down to the 20-yard line, near a Cougar first down. The 3rd quarter, 28-28. ABC Sports presentation of college football will return after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
4th down and goal. You have to score to win. The reverse. One man to beat. Allen. No. Oh, what a great play.
Oklahoma battles Texas, where Michigan faces Penn State next Saturday at 3:30 Eastern on ABC.
Getting ready for the start of the 4th quarter, tied at 28. This Mountain West opener, BYU and the host UNLV. This an impressive drive by the 20th ranked Cougars. 7 plays, 66 yards thus far. They started on the 13. Doman, quick hitter, caught. Rigel bowling his way over Jamal Wynn, and he's down near the 10-yard line.
Well, this could be the drive of the game right here. If they hold on to the ball, they keep marching it, put it in the end zone. You know, the way this game has gone, it's really been the Rebels' defense that has held them in this thing, creating turnovers, stopping key drives. And if they can put another touchdown on, can BYU, I don't know if UNLV can respond.
4 wide receivers set. Doman up the middle. Wrapped up, ball is loose. BYU recovers. Oh, that'll cause everyone wearing blue in this stadium today to gasp for their breath. Briggs caused the fumble. Reichert able to jump on the loose football.
Man, and this is what he does. He scrambles, but the hit comes in. The ball gets loose. Fortunately, Reichert able to jump on that thing and have his moment of glory as an offensive lineman. Congratulations, Reichert. And he got the first down. Hey, how about that? Riker should call that a carry for himself.
And they will whistle the play dead. Referee Gerald Wright stopping action. This has been a relatively clean game with regard to penalties. However, neither team with regard to turnovers has done that well, and especially fumbling and putting the ball down. They've done a decent job getting their own, but the ball has been on the turf way too often for either head coach's taste.
You just can't put it on the ground like that. And we've seen balls hit the ground that were recovered by their own team a lot today. But to UNLV's credit, they've done the better job of capitalizing on the mistakes that have been made, and that's why they're still in this game.
Quick hitter, pass is complete. Getting inside the 10-yard line, number 82, Soren Holiday. And the ball is loose, and UNLV has it. Holiday's claiming he was down.
We're just talking about how many fumbles there have been in this game, and there's another one. And it starts off with Holiday makes a great catch. He makes the catch, and then as he's stretching out here, ball just pops loose and right into the hands of the defender.
Sixth BYU fumble today, the third one they've lost.
And we said that this might be the drive of the game, maybe more so than we knew.
Dorsey trying to get outside, can't make it. Isaac Kelly.
And Dorsey.
If time permits, stay tuned for the Thrifty Car Rental postgame report featuring scores and highlights from across the country. John Saunders and Terry Bowden.
And it looks like Dorsey may have tweaked his hamstring on that one. The way he got tackled, his leg was spread out. He immediately limped off the field. We'll try to find out how he's doing.
Instead, they go to Haro. Right side. Cougar defense is tough. Justin Inna led the way. Be another third down in a throwing situation if the Rebels are hopeful to pick up the first down. Haro did get the big first down when UNLV went in for the tying score. I can't imagine the Cougar defense would fall for that again.
Probably not. And, you know, they've lost Dominique for a little while, hopefully not for too long. Now the pressure really is on Jason to make a play here, and this is a pretty obvious passing situation.
Third down 5. Quick hitter, Mason makes the catch. First down, Rebels. Michael Lafitte on the coverage, able to stop him. But he makes the catch and has a UNLV first down.
This is what you want to see out of your key players. You want to see your good quarterback make the great throw under pressure and the receiver go up and grab this thing out of the air. Great job by Mason on a crucial play. 28-28. They need it on this drive.
UNLV looking for the upset and their first win of the season. BYU trying to remain undefeated. Haro. Inside handoff. Joe Haro with room.
Another ball on the ground.
And they're going to rule him down. BYU had recovered. Check that, make it Stephen Costa with the carry, and they'll rule him down. This is the second time Costa has coughed it up today.
Now, people lose a lot of money in Las Vegas, but good Lord, we've been losing a lot of balls in Las Vegas. Haro, you see at the end of the play, boom, he's down, and definitely down before the ball came out.
Yeah, good call by the officials. Costa seeing more carries today, spelling Jabari Johnson, who has slipped down the depth chart. This is Haro. Up the middle, Joe Haro with the first down. Dustin Staley finally able to trip him up.
This UNLV offensive line doing a great job opening up some holes. Now, if they can march this ball down the field, running the ball, Haro's got 75 yards already today. They can march it down and score. Man, what an exclamation point on this victory. If they get it, of course.
The theme in college football is to spread the field, throw the ball around, balance. This looks circa 1977. Dorsey is back in the game. Dominique with the carry, slips outside, slips 1, 2, 3 tacklers before finally being tackled by Dustin Staley, the busiest of the Cougar defenders in this second half.
The momentum has definitely shifted in this game, and I don't know if BYU ever really had it. They've been solid all game. They've kept their composure, but with the turnover after turnover, I think this last drive they were looking at it, think, hey, we're about to take control of things, and now they are just dead.
Dorsey still in the game, had a muscle cramp, sent him to the sideline earlier in this drive. Try it again, outside, able to avoid the collar tackle and picks up another Rebel first down.
You watch Dorsey, and I don't know what happened to his hamstring earlier, but it's not bothering him now. He takes this pitch, starts it upfield, and then whoop, just zips outside so quick, so and strong, able to fight off that tackle to get it up the field.
Was the all-time leading rusher in the history of the state of California. And there have been some good backs to come out of California.
I think there have been 1 or 2 out of California, you think?
His name sits atop the record book. Costa, straight up the middle, the old-fashioned way. There is nothing fancy about this Rebel drive.
And right now, the Cougars are just flat. Their momentum is gone. Their enthusiasm is gone. The Cougars need to make some kind of play right here to kind of slow this down a little bit, because UNLV is getting more confidence with every play.
9:50 to go in the ball game. Tied at 28. Room down the sideline and finally knocked out of bounds inside the 30-yard line. Tomorrow on ABC Sports, travel to Indianapolis. Michael Schumacher, the winningest driver in Formula One history, back to defend his title at the SAP US Grand Prix tomorrow, live from the Brickyard, 1:30 Eastern on ABC.
We still have not seen much passing from Jason Thomas. He did throw the great pass on 3rd down, the completion earlier in this drive, but for the most part, they're marching it down, running the ball, eating up the clock, and eating up the confidence of the BYU Cougars.
Thomas into the flat, complete to the tight end, down to the 20-yard line to John Manley. Jason Thomas aiding the effort.
And you're glad to see him have a pass of any type, and not a difficult pass there on the play action, but he needs to get some completions, not just for this game, but for the remainder of the season. If he's going to be the quarterback, they've got to work on building back his confidence and that of his teammates.
2nd and 1. Dorsey up the middle. Cuts back inside the 10-yard line.
This kid is just exciting to watch. Every time he touches the ball, even when he doesn't go anywhere, it looks exciting.
1st and goal, drive that started back at their own 8. 11th play of the drive. Dorsey up the middle. Inside the 5-yard line. Levi Madrietta able to stop him.
What Dominique Dorsey has going for him is, A, he's got great speed and quickness, but he can read the hole. And once he reads the hole, he has no hesitation. Straight acceleration up the field. He's small enough that I think some of the defenders just lose sight of him, and they can't make a play on him.
Second and goal. Dorsey, he is whacked in the backfield. Paul Walkenhorse, all 6'5", 255, met him rudely.
didn't expect rushing like this out of UNLV. 179 yards on the ground, 284 yards of total offense. And you look at 105 yards passing, when you've got a guy who's supposed to be a Heisman contender and you got 105 yards passing.
Third down and goal. Haro and Costa. Thomas. Stopped. Fourth down.
And that's a curious play call. It sort of looked like an option, but it never was. It was just kind of a quarterback student body right. He pulls down the ball and immediately tucks it and starts running to the right, and that was going nowhere.
And he will send out his field goal unit, which has not performed particularly well in 2001. 22-yard attempt for Dylan Pfeiffer to give the Rebels the lead. Straight through, 31-28. Las Vegas with the lead. Nobody happier than Dylan Pfeiffer.
Went a little bit wayward on this snap, but great job by Toby Smelzer getting that thing in, getting it down, and the kick goes through. Man, Pfeiffer excited and happy after that one went through.
Zumklee sends one back to the goal line. Rigel out near the 20-yard line. We'll go to John Saunders, Times Square Stadium, for an update on the Tennessee-LSU game.
This Coors Light update, low-scoring affair. Casey Clausen, though, calls his own number. Busts through for the touchdown, 3 yards. They go for the two-point conversion. It's no good. The 12-7 is the lead right now for Tennessee. Stanford, meanwhile, trying to hold on. About 3 minutes left with the lead over USC.
Thank you, John. Cougars had put together an impressive drive before another turnover. Doman and company back to work. Brandon fires complete. Getting ripped is number 82, Soren Holiday. Kevin Thomas lowering the boom.
Nice job of hanging on, though, by Holiday. And a good job finding the open man. You could tell that Doman wanted to run that thing, but he saw a guy open, delivers it to him. And it'll be interesting to see what kind of composure BYU has right now. They've got plenty of time to drive down the field and score, but they haven't been in this position yet this year.
Cougars 3-0, UNLV looking for their first win of the season. BYU ranked 20th. Entering play today. Doman floats one off Mahe's hands, incomplete. Third down and 2 coming up.
And, you know, you have to wonder also if this is now 4-down territory. With 5:40 left in the game, my guess would be no, you punt it. But the way that UNLV drove down the field and the way your defense is feeling right now, I don't know. Croton, if they don't get it here, might say, well, we got to go for it on 4th down.
Staley in the backfield. The crowd at full throat. Staley is dropped. Scott Parkhurst drops him for a loss. And the Rebel fans applaud.
Now this will be a big decision. Looks like the punt team is coming on. And I think that's the smart play. You trust your defense to hold them and get the ball back for you. But now the Rebels really have an opportunity. The way they moved on that last drive, they could run out the clock if they can march it down the field. The last drive took them 7 minutes and 26 seconds. They can pull off another one like that.
Remember, nothing fancy on the last drive. Old-fashioned power football. Edmonds. This is a short kick. Sails out of bounds. He missed that one. UNLV has the lead, and they'll have the ball looking for their first win when we come back. Sports presentation of college football brought to you by Cadillac, the fusion of design and technology. Sears, only Sears has the brands you want at the prices you need. Sears, where else? And Williams, leading energy solutions. .42 remaining in the game. UNLV with a 3-point lead and the ball. Dorsey cuts it back. Ryan Denny. And speaking of Dorsey, time now for our Pacific Life game summary.
Well, Dominic Dorsey has been the man today. Here he is scoring on a touchdown run. He's a true freshman, and he's been a truly impactful player in this game, truly saving grace for the Rebels as he makes play after play after play, and really the only player on this offense who has really made a big impact like this and has put them in position to win.
We talked about his accolades in high school. Player that everybody else said a little bit too small. Try him again. They'll ride the little one. He presses close to a Rebel first down. Ryan Denny finally able to drop him.
And this is what the Cougars had to be afraid of when they punted that ball, is where they're going to grind it out, march the ball down. They've got to stop Dorsey. They have an opportunity now at 3rd and 2. They can make a big play here, force them to punt. John Robinson, a rare smile.
Man does enjoy himself. Big 3rd down. Dorsey. No. Didn't look like he got it.
That is a huge play by the Cougars.
4th down. 4th down. Approaching the 3-minute mark. And the Rebels will punt.
What a chess match this has turned into here at the end of the game.
When you look back throughout the course of the 4 quarters, the best unit today has been the Rebel defense.
Oh, absolutely, without doubt.
So if you're John Robinson, you'll put your best unit out there. Hope they can win it for you.
They have been solid all day. Now we've got a timeout on the field.
Take a timeout with them. BYU will need 3 to tie when they get the ball when we come back.
All around the world, Siemens is helping people work together, even when they're not together. From next-generation internet to mobile business solutions, we're giving people the freedom to communicate better.
Spin, spin, spin the globe. It's your turn to spin the globe.
We have got to cut costs, people. Idea.
Cook on for this all-important punt. Punting for the Rebels has been anything but automatic. Eddie Freeze to snap. Touch low. Cook will get it off. Rigel. Gonna let it bounce, and now he's gonna field it. A dicey decision, and Toby Smeltzer decks him at the 8.
Another big momentum play for UNLV.
One more reminder, the New York Jets undefeated in their last 4 appearances on Monday Night Football, including the thriller against the Dolphins last year. Jeff Garcia, the 49ers, try to stop the Jets' Monday Night Magic. It's Monday Night Football, 9 Eastern on ABC. Doman. Got a man. Complete. Andrew Ord makes the catch. Kevin Thomas quickly covering. 2:19 on the clock. The Cougars do have all 3 of their timeouts.
The Cougars need about a 63-yard drive to get them inside the opposite 30 to have a shot at tying it up with a field goal. For UNLV, they just need sure tackling. Doesn't matter so much what you give up underneath. Just do not let them get loose on a big play.
Stepping up, he'll try to run, and he's cut down from behind. Ahmad Briggs caught him from behind.
It's exactly what they have to do every time, whether it's a quarterback, a receiver, a running back, whoever it is who has the ball. We got another timeout.
Cougars take a timeout. We'll take one with them. Doman and company will talk it over. We'll be back. Been bright and fast-paced in Las Vegas. Sam Boyd Stadium, and the undefeated Cougars trailing by 3. Penalty flags will fly. Stress beginning to appear on the face of the coaches. Matt Payne, redshirt freshman, 2 for 3 today.
A little bit outside of his range right now.
2nd and 13. Pressure. He escapes. Penalty flag is down. Batted away. From the referee, generally indicates holding.
Probably. Oh, well, Doman's saying it's going to be a face mask on him, and he's right. You see some of that playmaking ability that Doman has. I mean, you look at it, this looks like a sack all the way. There's the grab on the face mask. It's the minor variety, but he... Oh, it's not the minor variety. They give him a 15-yarder. I thought that should have been a 5-yarder. But it's a 15-yard face mask, and he does a great job of eluding.
Palapoy was the one putting pressure and did grab the face mask of Brandon Doman.
But I didn't mean to.
6 penalties for the Cougars, just 2 for UNLV, each extremely costly.
They still need 39 yards to get into field goal range.
Doman. Mahe on the out, and he is shoved out of bounds. Shamian Sutton. That stops the clock at 1:49. Doman and company not thinking about the field goal just yet with 1:49 and a pair of timeouts. Like to get the touchdown.
And they've got time to get the touchdown, and they're playing with great poise right now. Having not been in this situation, this is Doman's first time under this kind of pressure. Really responding well at the moment.
Back to the air. Screen, knocked down. Great play. Number 18, Tosh Burris.
You take a look at this, and Tosh Burris just sniffed this thing out from the beginning. There was no hope. Comes up, great play to knock that down.
3rd down and 4. miscommunication. Mahe and Rigel both in the same area.
I think Doman was expecting him to break to the inside, and that can happen depending on what defense they're playing. If a guy hooks up, see, Doman throws it, and immediately he's thinking, oh, we don't know if he's thinking that's him who did it wrong or the other guy. Yeah, he's thinking he should have broken inside. Now we got 4th down. This is the play.
From the 38. Rebels looking for the upset. Cougars have a completion. Rigel into the open field. Deep into Vegas territory. All the way down to the 22-yard line. Ross Dalton finally able to stop him, but on 4th down, the Cougars have new life following the completion.
Eerily reminiscent of the play at the end of the half against Cal. There's just a quick dump over the middle, and the middle is wide open. He takes off up the field, and now they are inside field goal range for sure with this play. So if nothing else happens, they have a chance to kick a field goal, but plenty of time to score a touchdown.
42-yard completion to Rigel. Doman flushed out. He's got room on the right side. No red jerseys there. Doman for the end zone. Touchdown, BYU. 21 yards.
Doman, they've started calling him the Dominator. They might have to just call him Demand, or maybe Doughman, D-O-U-H, D-O-U-G-H, because he's straight money, kid. A minute 12 to go, and Doman puts it into the end zone on a scramble. This is what he's been doing all season.
Maine tacks on the extra point. 35-31, Cougars.
Doman rolling to his left again. They've got a moving pocket set up. The minute he doesn't see anything, he's like, I'm gone. The ball is tucked. He's not even thinking about throwing it. Turns on the jets and then gets some good blocking downfield, and he's into the end zone, untouched. And now the dilemma for UNLV is, in a minute 12, you can't run the ball down the field. Here was the play that really made things for this drive. 4th and 4, the completion. The big play that pushed them down into position to now score the touchdown. That was the play of the game. Rigel doing a great job of catching and running with that one. But now UNLV, what are they going to do? They can't. Now we've got to hope that Jason Thomas can do it, that he can mount a 2-minute drive, a minute 12 left to get him down. They have to get a touchdown. They're 4 points down.
John Robinson down by 4, his Rebels, and he has never started 0-4 in his entire 24-year career as a head coach.
And you can't argue with his decision-making so far in this game. By abandoning the pass, he put his Rebels in this position where they had it at 31-28. Now they're still in a position to win it. So you look at it in a minute 12 and you say, well, if you hadn't abandoned the pass, maybe you still have that option. Maybe Jason's confidence is there, but we'll wait and see what happens.
Squib kick, Haro fields it from the 17. Joe Haro with a little bit of room, cuts back. Joe Haro out to the 44-yard line. Coming up on ABC Network premiere of the season's best new drama, Alias. Starts Sunday at 9, 8 Central on ABC. The Rebels go to work from the 45. Jason Thomas, hailed as an All-American and a Heisman Trophy candidate.
Offsides on the offensive line.
Things beginning to unravel.
That looked like number 70, Tony Terrell, just getting an early start.
False start, offense, 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
You know, there's so much focus on the quarterback in a time. Everybody on that team is nervous. The offensive lineman just getting an early start.
1st and 15.
60 yards away from the touchdown that they would need to win this.
Steps up over the middle. Caught, one-handed catch, Irvin Johnson. His first catch of the day. The high school freshman. Thomas and company on the move. We're under a minute. The Rebels trail by 4. Complete. Bobby Nero driven into the turf.
They have only 1 timeout, so they've got to get on the ball and try to spike this to stop the clock.
UNLV with just 1 timeout remaining. But they're in business. At the 31, Thomas calling out the play. Steps up, Nero again, through his hands, incomplete. Bobby Nero couldn't hold it.
So they've got 23 seconds. I would imagine you've got to get the first down here. You need to run. You know, when we talked to Thomas earlier in the week, said when the game's on the line, you've got to get 2 or 4 yards. What do you want? He likes the quick out, which is what he wants to throw. We'll see if they put... We'll see Mason in the slot here at the bottom. Maybe Mason on the 5-yard out.
That is his preferred target. Instead, they'll go Haro, and he won't get the first down. The Rebels will have to call timeout. And they do. 16 seconds remaining.
There's Piper, the kicker. He won't come into play in this because they're 4 points down. So they're going to need to get a touchdown to get into the end zone. Now, I don't like that play call. I understand that you want to get the first down, but if you throw it, if you get it, you get it. The clock stops while they move the chains. If you don't get it, the clock's dead immediately because it's incomplete, and you don't have to use a timeout. Here they run it, don't get it, use up their last timeout.
Today's Chevrolet players of the game, Brandon Doman from BYU and Dominique Dorsey from UNLV.
Can't argue with either of those. BYU is winning this thing because of Doman.
In recognition of their efforts, Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund.
And the Rebels are in it because of Dorsey.
Dorsey had a defense that played extremely well throughout the day. 16 seconds and no timeouts from the 30. Thomas steps up, throws, incomplete. That'll do it. BYU will escape.
Well, what a disappointing conclusion for John Robinson and his Rebels. They had a good showing today, but just were not able to put it together at the end. They're going to have to go home and revisit that whole passing game. And certainly BYU, the Cougars, despite all the turnovers, they have 4 turnovers in this game and still find a way to win it against a very game UNLV squad. Says a lot about how good BYU is.
Disappointment evident for Jason Thomas. And they will drop to 0-4. Time winds down. Gary Croton and his BYU Cougars.
Man, he's got to be proud of the way his team fought through adversity, held on, kept their composure, came back to win it in the final seconds of the game. Just a great job by Gary Croton and his crew.
Croton and company win it 35-31. ABC Sports is online at ESPN.com, keyword ABC Sports. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, continuing the tradition of excellence. Now stay tuned for the Thrifty Car Rental postgame report. it, 35-31, the Mountain West opener for each team. Cougars improved to 4-0. UNLV drops to 0-4. A lot of big plays in this game, but here are the two key ones.
4th and 4 in that last drive by BYU. Rigel catches the pass wide open over the middle, able to get down into field goal range, or as it turned out, into touchdown range. Very next play, Doman rolling to his left, decides he's going to tuck it away and keep it, and just outruns everybody to the corner of the end zone. Those two plays back-to-back gave BYU the victory.
When we come back, we'll have scores and highlights from around the country for you. Stay tuned. Back to Las Vegas in a moment.
Thanks, Rich. And this is the Thrifty Car Rental postgame report. John Saunders alongside Terry Bowden. Kansas State last year losing twice to Oklahoma as the Sooners went on to win the national championship. Great game today. Nate Hibble, 75 yards to Antoine Savage. Oklahoma builds a 35-14 lead. But L. Roberson, the quarterback for Kansas State, leads them back. 57 yards here to Ricky Lloyd. Two-point conversion was good as well. They're within a field goal at 38-35. Then a safety. It's a one-point game, and this is a chance for the win. Roberson going deep, but the Hail Mary is not answered. It falls incomplete. Savage had a terrific day. Oklahoma pulls out another win.
Oklahoma has the longest winning streak in the country. If you want to beat them, don't blitz the quarterback and play man. They hurt them for 3 long touchdowns.
Clemson and Georgia Tech. Woody Dantzler, the story in this game, 64 yards to J.J. McKelvey. This was on 4th and 13. But Georgia Tech's Luke Manger ties the game with a 20-yard field goal, sends it to overtime, then Dantzler takes over again.
Heisman performance for Woody Dantzler here, and it got Georgia Tech really a wide-open conference. Now everybody's in the game, Clemson included.
Northwestern facing Michigan State. Zach Kustok, 54 yards to John Schweiger, gets it down to the Michigan State 32-yard line. Michigan State with a 2-point lead. 2 points later, David Wazalewski knocks it through for the win. Northwestern now 3-0.
Well, they were the preseason favorite to win the Big Ten. They won this, and they had to win this one to stay in the hunt.
Alabama and South Carolina. Tyler Watts, 9 yards in the touchdown run. But every time Alabama would pull away, South Carolina would come back. Phil Petty, 7 yards to Rod Trafford. And because of a missed extra point, South Carolina wins.
I'll tell you, Dennis Franchione's a great rebuilder of programs, but Lou Holtz, he's the master.
Yeah, he has absolutely rebuilt this team. 4-0 for the second consecutive year. This is the Thrifty Car Rental postgame report.
Going to be, if you put him in there in any one-back sets, they know that he either has to carry the ball or he's not big enough to block anybody. So that's the downside on him.
If your BYU keeps rolling, if your UNLV and John Robinson, how do you get your team up to play again next week?
Well, I think at this point you have nothing to lose. You're 0-4. Who cares if you go 0-5? You know, what's 5 pounds on an elephant at that point? And I think that what they're going to have to do is find a way to recover, build it on guys like Dominique Dorsey, who are making big plays for him.
Well, it has been a dandy from Sam Boyd Stadium in Las Vegas. The BYU Cougars win it. They remain undefeated and look to climb in the polls. For our producer, Jack Graham, and our director, Norm Samet, and Reggie Rivers, Rich Cellini, good night from Las Vegas.
Down 3-zip, not anymore. Walter Cross takes the pitch, throws the H-back pass to Marquise Walker, 7-3. Second quarter, 4th and inches in a 14-10 game. Kirk Kittner can't get it. Illinois turns it over on downs, and the game turns completely around in favor of the Maize and Blue. They go up large after that. John Navarre to Ronald Bellamy. Sweet pitch and catch there, 28 yards. Michigan had 21-10 and would win 45-20. Wolverines have not